All right, it looks like we are recording. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. This is your official training for the Greater Philadelphia More Than Pink Walk that is coming up here on May 12th. And we're all here because we want to contribute to a world without breast cancer. So we're on a mission. And you all have chosen to volunteer at the Philadelphia More Than Pink Walk on Sunday, May 12th at the Parks Casino. With us today is one of our Pennsylvania Market staff members who will introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to volunteer with us this weekend. My name is Taylor Kazoka. I'm the development manager for Susan G. Komen of Eastern Pennsylvania, so covering the Philadelphia area. And I'm so excited to meet you all this Sunday.
Thank you, Taylor. While you're at the site this weekend, you'll also get to meet a bunch of other Komen staff members who will be delighted to get to know you and try to recruit you for one of our committees in the area. So if you want to get more involved with Komen, please let us know. We're always looking for volunteers who are dedicated and looking to maximize their impact. So why are we going to volunteer this weekend? We are going to share in our vision of a world without breast cancer. And how do we do this? We are going to do this through our mission by saving lives and meeting the most critical needs of our communities and investing in breakthrough research to prevent and cure breast cancer. So how do we even get the money for this? We do this through large events like the one that you're going to be lending a hand at this weekend. As you know, breast cancer is so prevalent in our communities. And every 12 minutes, one woman in the United States is going to lose her life to breast cancer. We're trying to minimize that number and make sure that that is not the case, make sure that our families, our friends, our loved ones are not suffering at the hands of the disease. Especially because we know that a lot of the, sorry, a lot of the people who are diagnosed with breast cancer, um, you know, have never even like had heard about breast cancer, but didn't know that it would affect them, or maybe their families had been affected in the past. And so it's just so prevalent. 1 in 8 women in the United States is diagnosed with the disease that we want to make sure that we don't see those numbers anymore. So why are we going to volunteer? We're going to volunteer because we want this to make a meaningful, manageable, and enjoyable experience. Uh, we hope that you share our mission and our values and that we're all working towards a world without breast cancer. We're hoping that this is also an opportunity for personal and professional fulfillment for you and supporting our mission and maybe networking along the way and finding other like-minded folks who are also dedicated to ending breast cancer. This experience is going to be manageable. Our volunteer expectations of you are limited to the day of the walk. Uh, like I said, however, if you want to get more involved, there's always opportunities for that. But we're going to have resources and training tools like the one that you're receiving today to make sure that your volunteer experience is a positive one. This is going to be an enjoyable event. You're going to be able to establish and grow positive relationships in your community and see the joy of those who are being brought together to celebrate their loved ones or to commemorate the memory of someone that they lost. And we are so, so, so thankful that you choose to spend a weekend, Mother's Day weekend with us. So at the end of the day, it all goes back to our appreciation for you and our appreciation for the community members who join us in this fight. So this is the event overview. We're going to be meeting at Parks Casino on Sunday, May 12th. We're anticipating 3,000 attendees. That includes walkers, survivors, individuals living with breast cancer or metastatic breast cancer, sponsors, top teams, etc. And we are going to raise $500,000 to fuel our mission and our programs. Now, that number is going to make a significant impact in the services and the help that we're able to provide community members who are facing a breast cancer diagnosis. You help make this happen. And again, we are so, so thankful. Here's your site map. So once you arrive to the Parks Casino and Racing Center, you will be able to find a number of colored tents that are going to indicate our expo area. That's what we're going to call it. If you take a look closely at the map, you'll see that volunteer tent is number 3 on the map. It's by by the restrooms and the We Remember tent. But there's some other areas that you'll be placed in. So regardless of where you're volunteering, your first stop is going to be that tent number 3, the volunteer check-in tent. And then you will be deployed to your area, depending on where you're volunteering. And we'll go into a little bit more detail in a second. So what to expect? At 8:30, we're going to open. And at 9, survivors and those living with MBC gather at Hope Village. 9:30, we will have our opening ceremony. And at 10 a.m., our walk will begin. We're anticipating it all to be over by around noon. So even though your volunteer shifts say that they end at 1, you'll probably get out of there before then. 1 is counting all of the teardown time that we'll need. So what are some FAQs? Who will be the lead point of contact in your area in case any issues come up? Taylor, who's on our call, is going to be your main staff point of contact, period, for the walk. But if you have any questions or doubts, feel free to reach out to PA Volunteer at Komen.org before the event. I am the person who is checking in that account, so you will receive responses from me. So from any time today to Sunday, any questions that come up, please email us. We'll be more than glad to answer them. Where can people find maps and information? The site and route map is in the website for the More Than Pink Walk. So feel free to go to the website and look for the map. The map will also be attached in the email that you are receiving today. So you will also be able to just refer to the map in your email. Where are the restrooms, food or water? So there are restrooms located in the expo area. Like we said, they're close to the volunteer check-in tent. So you don't need to go too far. And then please also note that there will be food, coffee, water, snacks for folks attending the walk in Hope Village and in the volunteer tent. Now, Hope Village is only reserved for breast cancer survivors or those currently living with MBC. But if you see any participant that maybe has like a survivor shirt on and is looking for food, please point them to Hope Village. What happens if you need to restock any food supplies, water, etc.? Make sure that you check in with the volunteer check-in tent. They will be able to secure the supplies that you need and make sure that they get to the appropriate area. What happens in case of an emergency? Well, first of all, we know that if there is a big emergency, the first thing you'll do is dial 911. But if it's not a life and death emergency, please find one of our staff members. They will all be wearing black staff t-shirts at the event, and they will be able to assist you. We also have crisis response teams, police around the expo area, etc. So you should be able to easily identify a person who can help you with emergencies. Taylor.
Yes, I was also going to add that we have park security on site, and you will be receiving a badge when you check in that will have their number on the back as well. So, if God forbid something is happening, or if you feel like you need their security, feel free to give them a call and they'll come right to help.
I love that. You don't see that at all walks, so that's a marvelous thing to have. So what happens if you did your job and you know that you're not doing much anymore, you're just kind of standing around? Please don't just stick around that area. If you see that you have run out of things to do, go back to the volunteer check-in tent, and someone at the tent will be able to redeploy you to an area that needs your help. So again, please let us know if you feel like the position where you are has kind of run its course, or you're not being utilized in the area where you officially were. so that we can find another place where you can be the most helpful to us at the event. Arrival info and resources. The arrival time varies by volunteer role, but for the most part, everyone will be getting there at around 6:30 or 7. So please refer to the event day details email that you will be receiving in conjunction with this training. So your shift is going to be in that email, both start time and end time. Like I said, the end time for all volunteer shifts has 1 p.m. as the designated end time. The event will be done by then, and you'll probably be out of there before then. That takes into account the tear down time for your area. Parking. Free parking is available to all volunteers. Please park near Parks East. That is the area that we have designated for volunteer parking. Check-in. Again, you're all going to check in at the volunteer tent number 3 in the expo area. Things to bring. Bring comfortable clothing. You will be walking and standing. So we suggest athletic attire, tennis shoes. Check the weather. Bring a rain jacket, just in case, or an umbrella just in case. The event will go on rain or shine. So please make sure that you are bringing in all the tools that you'll need to stay either dry or out of the sun if the day decides to be very sunny. Again, in the email, I will include a forecast of the weather so you can have an idea of what the day will look like. But don't forget to check the weather app on your phone before you head out. A volunteer Komen t-shirt will be provided upon check-in for all volunteers, and sizing is dependent on first come, first serve. So if you arrive early, you'll get your pick of sizes. The later you arrive, the less options we have for sizes. But please, if you have volunteered with us in the past, then you already have a blue volunteer t-shirt like the one that you see behind me. Bring your t-shirt. It allows us to not have to utilize our resources in a duplicative manner, and you won't have a collection of very, very similar, if not the same, blue t-shirts clogging up your closet. So please, if you have volunteered with us before, bring your old t-shirt. That way you'll save us some time and some resources. So what happens and where, what you're doing, that depends on the shift that you sign up for. So if you are part of the setup crew, you are helping us set up the event. That means that you may experience some downtime between deliveries and unloading, or people getting kind of situated before the event, but you're going to help us hang up banners, assemble step and repeats, assemble flag banners, dress tables, put up signs, decorate tents, organize supplies, write signs, or assemble our activation pieces. You're really helping us be ready for the walk the next day. And it is such an important volunteer role that's kind of behind the scenes, but without you as volunteers, the next day would not be possible. So if you're part of the setup crew, remember that you will be assisting days before the walk, not on the actual walk. But it's a great opportunity if you want to enjoy the walk as a walker, but also want to volunteer. So that's an option for folks that want to get the best of both worlds. Registration volunteers. Not every participant needs to stop by registration, but we want to encourage them to do so. Why? Oh, sorry, my throat. Why? Because we want not only to be able to count on those folks in the future and invite them to participate in other Komen events and opportunities in the future, we also want to make sure that we are accomplishing our goal at the walk, which is at the end of the day to raise $500,000. And without the help of as many walkers and as many fundraisers as possible, then that goal gets harder to accomplish. So participants who wish to make a donation in person or attendees who wish to register will stop by registration. We're going to prioritize registering using a QR code and encouraging folks to register on their own personal phones, but we will have paper registrations on site. So if you are assisting with paper registration, We must ensure that participants completely fill out the form and signs the registration form. There's a front and a back, and the back often gets forgotten about. So we want to make sure that both sides of the registration sheet are completed. But again, we want to encourage folks to do so on their phones online. If you are not registering folks, then we are welcoming attendees and inviting participants to fill out back signs and participate in any of the other activation pieces of the walk. You're also going to be helping us pass out mission pillar wraps and ensure that there's no bottlenecks. So if you see that there is a line that's maybe getting a little too long, feel free to step in and assist in the registration of folks who are waiting in line. Volunteer check-in. What are you going to do if you're a volunteer who helps with volunteer check-in? You are checking in the rest of the volunteers, ensuring that every volunteer has signed a volunteer agreement. If they're a minor volunteer, you are ensuring that we have their physical signed volunteer agreement that is signed by their guardian and the child who is volunteering. You are also ensuring that the volunteer gets to the correct area. So as someone checks in, you will be informing them of what area they're supposed to go to. If there is enough staff or enough volunteers around, then escorting them to the area and distributing volunteer resources if needed. We're going to confirm assignment, check-in time, deploy volunteers. You're also going to assist with the redeployment of volunteers as needed. And if need be, assist with the checkout of volunteers, signing any volunteer hour sheets that are brought to the table, etc. You'll also be assisting folks that maybe get lost along the way and stop by the volunteer check-in tent and letting them know where they need to go and when they need to go, for example, for opening ceremony and things of the like. But you are helping us wrangle the rest of the folks in the blue shirts, essentially. Okay, parking and greeters. Volunteers are located around the area. It says mall, but the expo area. So those are the folks that will assist with questions. Where do I need to go? Where do I need to be when? You will greet all arriving participants with a smile on your face and provide information about the walk. Start and finish line volunteers assist with the start of the walk. They cheer for participants as they depart the start line and cheer for participants as they cross the finish line. This is a big accomplishment for a lot of folks who are completing the walk, so we want to make sure that they're feeling supported and cheered, essentially. So a big sunny disposition is necessary for our start and finish line. We encourage you to bring posters and props to cheer our folks. If there are flowers, you will assist with distributing flowers to survivors crossing the finish line. And you can also offer to take pictures of attendees. So as folks are crossing that finish line, they often want to have a big commemorative photo. You can let them know that you will grab their phone, take their picture, and then hand it back to them. But essentially, we're just making sure that people feel really supported as they depart and come back to the expo area. Water station is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to be passing out water to participants, and you're also going to be cheering participants throughout the course. You will be assigned a location, and we ask that you please don't move too far away from that location until the walk is over. For the water station volunteers, really quick, I will note, we also want you to be on the lookout for anything that kind of happens along the course. So you, along with the course monitor, will keep an eye out for potential medical emergencies, falls, twisted ankles, people who are out of breath, dehydrated, things like that. So make sure that you're remaining vigilant. Even though you're not always surrounded by participants, we want to make sure that you're not on your phone or things like that so that you can stay really well aware of what's happening in your surroundings. You're also going to be assisting participants stay on course, cheer participants as they pass by on the course, of course. And we encourage you to bring signs, portable speakers, pom-poms, props, etc. Again, you will be assigned a location. If you can't stand for too long, you can bring a foldable chair or a lawn chair, and you can sit in your area as you monitor the course. Cheer stations. What do? You cheer participants throughout the course. You also will be assigned a location, and we ask that you stay in that location for the duration of the walk. Again, you're welcome to bring signs, portable speakers, pom-poms, props. We challenge you to come up with a cheer specific to the walk, or a song, anything that is creative and lets participants know that you are there to support them and you're there thinking of them, is encouraged. And then finally, our event teardown crew. We will have volunteers who are dedicated just for teardown, but everyone has a responsibility to tear down in their area. So you will assist with the teardown of the event in your area, throw trash away, remove signage, and store materials in respective tubs if there are tubs in your tent, for example. And then help us pass out leftover food. There's always leftover food, leftover water. We want to make sure that we pass that out. So please do not start tearing down until you are told by a staff member that you can start doing so. Don't start tearing down in the middle of the walk. You will be specifically told a time to start tearing down. And then once that time gets there, please use your best judgment. If you see that there's still 100 people waiting to cross the finish line and you are in a cheer station that is right next to the finish line, don't begin tearing down until they have all crossed and you have finished cheering them on, please. What happens, where, and what you'll do in the volunteer tents and the volunteer mission tents. We have our pillar tents is what we call them. This is our mission activation that take place in the expo area. There are 4 different colored tents: our care pillar, our community pillar, action pillar, and research pillar. Each of them have different responsibilities depending on the one that you're in. So you'll either be sharing information about Komen's patient navigation or treatment assistance programs, help share how Komen helps ensure breast cancer patients have equal care everywhere, or equal access to care everywhere. There is a match game that you'll be assisting and facilitating. There's a selfie stop. You're going to assist and encourage participants to sign up to volunteer. Sign up to one of our Shares for the Cures programs. That's in the research side. Share information about metastatic breast cancer and the importance of funding research. Encourage attendees to get involved in Komen's public policy efforts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So these are our closest activations to what we do on the mission side for Komen. It's a big job, it's an important job, but it's also not as scary as it sounds. So if you have any questions, please check in with the folks at the volunteer check-in tent, who will be able to synthesize exactly what you're expected to do in the volunteer tents. We ask that you try to engage walkers as they are around you in the volunteer pillar tents, or in the pillar tents, because folks are often kind of scared or maybe don't approach as easily. So invite them to come on into the tent and talk to them, and obviously partake in any of the activation pieces. The final area that we're going to talk about is Hope Village. So what happens in Hope Village? Hope Village is a special place where we celebrate our most important members of the Philadelphia More Than Pink Walk family. It is an area for breast cancer survivors and those living with metastatic breast cancer, and guests of their choosing. If there's enough space and room, oftentimes it is one of the most packed areas at the walk. So please note that it is dependent on capacity. Registered survivors will be given a pink bracelet. So that's who's going to be coming in and out of your area. It's not just going to be open kind of for the general public to walk through. And the volunteers in this area are going to greet and thank survivors, thrivers, top fundraisers. You're going to be refilling the merch bar, refilling the food tables, collecting trash, and assisting with other tasks as needed. It's important to note that we please ask that you don't turn anyone away from Hope Village. Um, we do ask that folks register, and they can register at the walk to receive their pink bracelet. But we don't want this to be a situation where people are getting into confrontations because they, can't walk into Hope Village, or they are being turned away for any reason. If you have any questions about someone's admittance into Hope Village, please check in with the Hope Village lead or with a Komen staff member. They will be able to better assist. All right. So if there are any questions, comments, or conversation points that you want to get started, please contact me at pavolunteer@komen.org. Although I am not the person who typically oversees the volunteer relationships in Pennsylvania, I am filling in for one of my colleagues who's out on maternity leave, and I will be your point of contact for the next months to come. So please message me, email me, give me a call. And we are able to get your questions, comments taken care of. And again, if you are interested in participating in a deeper way and contributing to the walk in future years, let us know, and we'll be glad to connect you to Taylor so that you can join one of our committees. Taylor, do you have anything else to add?
That was incredible. Thank you so much. And again, thank you everybody for volunteering on Sunday and being a part of our Mother's Day tradition. We're so, so, so excited to have you. I am always happy to answer questions as well. So feel free if you need to contact me directly. I'm more than happy to also answer questions. But yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so, so much for watching this. If you have questions after watching, about your specific role, please let us know. And we're here to help you. We're here to celebrate with you. And we can't wait to see you at the Philadelphia More Than Pink Walk this coming Sunday. Have a good one.